Hi, do you want to know the quickest way to bring about family unity in a step family? Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. One of the things that can really get in our way in a step family are expectations. And the thing is, it's very difficult in life not to have expectations, particularly for things like hopes for our future relationships and family. We can go into a step family really hoping and wishing that things are going to be a particular way. But when we find that they're not like that and people aren't behaving as you'd thought they'd behave, and things are sad and disappointing, people have difficulty forming and being in a step family. The children do, the step parent does, the parent of the child does. And the way to think about going with this is to accept the situation as it is. So supposing you've got a situation where some of the children don't want to come and stay, or when they do come, they're silent, or they remove themselves to their bedroom immediately, or meal times are extremely difficult, or bedtimes are extremely difficult. There are a lot of difficulties. First of all, just observe how bad it is now. How bad is it? How much pushback are you getting? How much resistance? What are people doing and saying, or not doing and not saying? What is the situation as it is at the moment? And it probably isn't happy, and it isn't cohesive, and you don't feel like a family, and it is extremely disappointing. That is where you are. Hoping it's going to turn into something different tomorrow is a false expectation. But you can work with what the situation is now. And if people don't want to be with each other or can only stand limited times with each other, how about, instead of trying to bring them together more, just accepting that? Why don't you do an experiment and see how long people can remain in each other's company? Is it 20 minutes? Is it 10 minutes before one or other starts getting dissatisfied? How long is it? What is the reality of how the family isn't at the moment? What is it? And then work with what is as opposed to what you want it to be. Start from where you are. So supposing you can sort of manage half an hour together before the whole thing begins to collapse. Put in half an hour things to do together, or only allow the family to be together for half an hour before you allow people to go off and do their own things. If meal times are terrible, maybe plan to not eat together. Now, that'll be the last thing you want to do, because you want everybody to get on well and eat together. But if it's not working at the moment and it's disappointing and frustrating, eat separately for some meals and then just have one meal a weekend together. Start with the very minimum and where you are now. Because if you start pushing for things to be the way you want it and for everything to be happy and everything to be correct and right, then it's just not going to happen like that, and you will continue to be frustrated and disappointed. If you work with what is, then that acceptance of what is will help people feel acknowledged and recognised, and then you can build from there, and it can be a much more respectful building, because people will feel acknowledged for thinking, we don't like to eat together. And if you acknowledge that and say, okay, so we're going to have one meal together this weekend, everyone can feel a bit happier, and they may make an effort for that one meal. And then in time, that one meal might turn into 2 meals a weekend, and then once a day, and then 2 meals per day, occasionally. Build from where you are. If you try and push for it to be as you want it straight away, you'll just get people going the other way and giving you even further pushback, and things will get worse, not better. The place it starts to get better is when you're real about how bad the situation is now and work with that. Often in step families, it is said that they are not one family. They are 2 or more families under one roof. And when I say more, it may be that you've got children from the past, your partner's got children from the past, and you've got children together. That would make 3 separate families cohabiting under one roof. And it can sometimes help to think of it as you're not all together. You're not all united. You're just doing your own thing, and you're meeting people's individual needs so that people can feel respected and trust can build, and then a friendship can develop. And from there, you get to family unity. You don't get to it by pushing for it and not respecting or understanding other people's dilemmas about being in this step family. I really hope that helps. It's not at all easy, and step families are not something you can just put together because you want them. And if you do that, they very rarely work. We run workshops, sessions, an email response service, and we write booklets. Look at the description box below for links to our social media and website.